Today on CityCast Philly. Philly's been hosting a monthly art event known as First Friday since the early 90s. It originated as a gathering place in Old City for art lovers to enjoy late night exhibits and free wine. Over the years, though, it's expanded to other neighborhoods. So, we're revisiting a conversation I had with a local art insider who knows how to plan the best First Friday experience. It's Thursday, September 5th. I'm Trinae Nuri, and here's what Philly's talking about. Chelsea Luster, Philadelphia based curator, educator, and visual artist. Thanks for coming on CityCast Philly.
Thank you for having me.
Chelsea, I know Old City is kind of the birthplace of First Friday. So, why are First Fridays so special to Philly?
Ooh, First Fridays are so special to Philly because of Philly's underground art scene and emerging art scene. We have so many art collectives, like we have Vox Populi, but we also have so many major museums like the Philadelphia Museum of Art, the Barnes. So that connection between, grassroots artist run spaces and also some of the best art institutions and museums in the country creates these like thriving art communities in our city.
Yeah. Can you tell me what First Friday means to you? A favorite memory or show?
Ooh, so I started to go to First Friday when I moved to Philly in 2015 to go to Temple University, Tyler School of Art.
Okay, TU.
Yes, yes, yes. So when I first got here, I was studying at Tyler and I was hearing about First Friday in Philly, and I was going to Old City, and I remember there were so many vendors and artists selling, prints and different items, and there was live music in the streets, and all the galleries were open with like wine and snacks, and that was really my introduction to First Friday in Philadelphia.
Nice. So, like I mentioned in the intro, everyone celebrates First Friday now, all over the city.
hmm
So there are so many events to choose from. So, Chelsea, I want to know, how do you make the most of all the offerings and deals? Let's start with, what galleries actually participate in First Friday events?
Yes. When it comes to making the most out of it, I would definitely say pick a neighborhood. If you try to drive around the city and find parking or walk around the city on a Friday night, it's going to be too much. So I would pick one area, spend the whole night there. If there's anything within a 20-minute walking distance, hit that. So if you wanted to do Center City and do the museums, I would definitely do the Philadelphia Museum of Art. They have Pay As You Wish Fridays every Friday. So they always have a first Friday. The Barnes Foundation always has a first Friday with like good live music and food. The Rodin Museum, they have first Fridays sometimes when the weather's warm in the spring or summer. So I would say if you want to be in that Center City Museum district, definitely hit those. Sometimes the art schools will have first Fridays for their MFA shows, BFA shows.
How about First Friday in North Philly?
If you wanted to go closer to North Philly but still Center City, I would definitely do Vox Populi and all the galleries in that building, so like Grizzly or Blah Blah Gallery. I would definitely do that. They also have open studios on First Friday where people, will allow you into their studio, let you see their studio practice. They have different shops, so people are selling clothes. There's so many different types of shops and stores and galleries, and there's music and drinks and food and performances. You can spend the whole night there. You don't even have to go anywhere else. If you wanted to do West Philly, the Institute of Contemporary Art, they have great openings, not always on First Friday, but they have the best food. They have open bar, usually wine, but they have amazing art. It's always crowded, full of amazing curators, full of great artists. Like that's a great networking event. Cherry Street Pier, they have First Fridays too. They have an art residency where they have artists work in their space and have studios. So usually on First Friday, all those artists will open up their galleries, their spaces, and let people come in and see their art.
I love Cherry Street Pier, just with the shipping containers that are converted into gallery studio spaces. I love that.
Yeah, it's the best. Paradigm in Old City. They have a really great First Friday. I feel like First Friday has really shifted all over the city, where Old City isn't always the hub anymore, but Paradigm is definitely bringing that back, where they have a new building with five incredible floors. They use three of it for gallery space. So you could also spend the entire night there. There's so many spots.
Now, I know you've been sharing places where we can see art, but what if I'm interested in seeing a performance on First Friday?
If you want to see performances on First Friday, I would definitely go to the museums. So the Philadelphia Museum of Art, they'll sometimes have live music. The Barnes Foundation, they almost always have a performer and live music. So if you want that, classic live music situation with like a ton of food or performers or dancers, definitely the Barnes or the Philadelphia Museum of Art.
Nice. More on how to make the most of First Fridays after the break.
Hi, this is David, the CEO of CityCast. Do you ever find yourself holding back on travel because you're afraid of a language gap? Well, mind the gap no longer, as long as you have Babbel. Babbel is the science-backed language learning app. Its 10 minutes lessons are quick and handcrafted to get you talking your new language in 3 weeks. So I was reminded in the Olympics how much I love French. I had spoken French as a kid, but it has deteriorated to nothing. But I thought I would love to take a trip back to France with my girlfriend, but I'm embarrassed because my French is at zero. And I thought, why don't I get on Babbel and revive my French? And it's been a joy for the past few weeks. I'd forgotten everything. I'd forgotten plurals. I'd forgotten articles, vocabulary. Mostly I'd just forgotten how to speak and how to listen. And Babbel has me back on track with lots of speaking and lots of listening, because that's how you get better at a language. So I've been working on time, for example, and there's this way in French where when you say 2:45, you don't say 2:45, you say 3 o'clock minus 15. So, je rentre à 3 heures moins le quart. I'm coming back at 2:45. Anyway, it's so much fun to speak. And don't take my word for it. There's studies from Yale, from Michigan State University that prove that Babbel works. So here's a special limited time deal for CityCast listeners. Right now, get up to 60% off your Babbel subscription, but only for our listeners at babbel.com/citycast. Get up to 60% off at babbel.com/citycast. Spelled BABBEL.com/citycast. Rules and restrictions may apply.
Are there any First Friday deals or discounts I should be aware of?
Absolutely. So aside from most galleries always being free and welcoming during, normal gallery hours and First Fridays, a lot of the museums that are a little bit more expensive in Philadelphia are usually pay as you wish, or they're free to enter, like the Philadelphia Museum of Art is pay as you wish on the First Fridays, or the Barnes Foundation is discounted. But yeah, you can really just walk around to most galleries. You can walk around and get pretty much free drinks, and all the spaces are free too.
Now, First Fridays is a time to celebrate our local artists. So, what do I do if I'm interested in buying their art?
Mm, If you're interested in buying art, always look for the curator. They're going to be the best person to talk to you about the finance part of the work and be able to tell you the pricing of everything. Not all galleries have a price list out. A lot of people will have the labels in a private price list or a price list that will be kind of floating around the room. If the artist is there, always talk to them. If you don't see something specific that you like at the gallery, but you love the artist, you love what they stand for, you love their work, you can always set up a studio visit with them and see the rest of their work.
Oh, interesting.
That's one of the best parts of my career as a curator, is that, I can make these connections at First Friday, and then I can follow all their shows. I can travel to see their work. I can go to their studio. I can really build that relationship. So then when I do collect a piece, it feels like I'm bringing something, really special from someone I care about and someone's practice I care about into my life. We all know that art can be expensive. So building that relationship with artists and curators really helps people understand the pricing behind, the work and the pieces that you see on First Friday.
Awesome. Do you have any other pro tips for navigating all of these events or any etiquette to be aware of?
This might be a contradiction to a lot of people's belief about First Friday, but do not drink up all of the wine. Definitely, enjoy yourself, have a good time, have a glass or two. But a lot of galleries will actually cut back on serving wine if people are getting dangerously intoxicated because it's a liability and it's dangerous.
Right.
And so definitely enjoy yourself, but also plan to go to a bar after First Friday is done if you want to, take it there.
Continue your night. Yes.
Yes.
Now, you did tell me about the tip about kind of really planning your night because of parking and, driving around the city. So when should I start my night during First Friday?
Ooh. So most First Fridays will be open from 6 to 9. So I would, leave work, go to happy hour, eat something, and then start at 6 and go all the way until 9. You can hit as many spots as you want within that time frame, but most will usually end at 9 and you can continue your night.
I do remember you giving like the tip, pick a neighborhood.
Yes.
So how many galleries can you realistically see in a night?
I would say between 1 and 5.
That's a range.
If you want to spend time meeting with artists, meeting with curators, looking at each work, networking, connecting with people, I would stay at one space. If you want to see as much art as you can, meet, maybe shake hands with an artist really quickly, but see as much art as you can, I would aim for 3 or 4. If you don't want to talk to anybody and you just want to see the work, and you just want to, breeze through without too much chit chat, I think you could hit 5. So it really depends on the experience that you want. Personally, I usually do about 1 or 2 galleries. That's also because I'm a curator and an artist, and I'm always chatting with people and know, the people that are in the space. But there's a wide range. I think 5 is probably the cutoff, though. If you go to spaces like Vox Populi in that building where there's so many different galleries, you can hit all of them, and you can easily hit 5 galleries. So really it depends on what your goal is, what your mission is, and how much you want to connect and how much you want to focus on the work.
Nice. All right, that's Chelsea Luster, Philadelphia-based curator, educator, and visual artist. Thank you so much for all these recommendations and for joining me on CityCast Philly.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me.
That's all for today here on CityCast Philly. Aren't you excited about First Friday? Our producers are Abby Fritz and Selena Say Reynolds. Our Hey Philly newsletter editors are Asha Prihar and Adrian Gonzalez. And our host is me, Trinae Nuri. Music is by Philly's own Interminable, with additional music from All the Kimonos. If you enjoyed the show, call up your friend who also loves art and good vibes. Rate the show, leave us a review, and subscribe to our morning newsletter, Hey Philly. We'll be back Tuesday morning with more news from around the city. Have a great weekend and be safe, y'all. Bye.